Today's episode is brought to you by the Vegas Beer Guys and the Sounds in Cinema podcast.
Everything sequel contains explicit language. And why the fudge not, you melon farmer?
Hello and welcome to the Everything Sequel podcast. This is the Batman edition. We're pitching sequels today. My name is Michael Shantz of the How Dare You Awards. Joining me, Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions. Hit me with a quote, Tom.
You're really quite bright, despite what everyone says. Alfred's other duty to Batman is apparently to be his insult comic.
That's what Batman and Robin, right?
No, that's Batman Forever.
Is it?
That's the second.
Oh, you're right. That's when they figure out.
That's the only
Riddler's...
other good line in Batman Forever.
Yeah, that's when they figure out Riddler's
and
shit.
Both Alfreds. I love that line. I love that delivery too.
Well,
Michael Goff should have got.
Michael
Goff should have got an honorary Oscar for appearing in these movies.
Fuck yeah!
Like a lifetime achievement award.
Of being the one good thing that you could count on throughout the series.
Even if he'd not been in any other movies, he should have got a lifetime achievement award for sticking it through to the end of Batman and Robin.
Oh, that's great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do you do with a sequel to this fucking series? That's the question we are asking ourselves today. Tom and I are here.
The actual filmmakers in this series did not know either.
Clearly.
Why would two non-professionals like us be able to figure it out?
Do you think you figured it out?
I think I've got the seeds of something that is where this series might have been better going.
Okay.
That's the best way to put it. But it's a struggle for two different reasons, right? Because the series has been reimagined twice,
right,
since this iteration, and also this iteration makes it almost impossible to have a sequel beyond Batman and Robin, right? Which is why they rebooted it.
Yeah.
And then rebooted it again, and then rebooted it again.
Heard.
So I'm kind of drawing as much as I can from the lessons learned, both positive and negative, from reviving this franchise periodically. As much as I am trying to ignore a whole lot of this franchise in crafting this sequel. What about you?
This probably will not come as a surprise to you. I have decided to do a classic sequel thing in which I just ignore two sequels.
Would you be surprised to learn I've done exactly the same?
I would a little bit, yeah.
You really thought, I mean... You really thought I was going to pitch you Batman and Robin and Batgirl, didn't you?
I did. I gotta tell you...
Batman and Robin with Batgirl.
I honestly thought that would be your title. That's...
I certainly thought about it, but it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
There was literally nowhere to go. They had drained the pool.
Yeah.
There was nothing left in that tank.
I was just gonna say, there's
nothing left in that bubble tank.
Nothing left in that bubble tank.
But there was alternatively, there was a lot left on the table at the end of Batman Returns, and that's where I decided to go.
All right.
And Batman, actually.
Well, do you want to go first, or do you want
No.
me to go first? That was
No fucking
that
way.
was a firm no.
You definitely have got more of a premise, so go for it.
All right. My Batman sequel is called Batman Continues.
Right? That's good.
We open with Bruce Wayne walking behind an orderly at Arkham Asylum. A door to a visiting room is opened, and we see Selina Kyle trying to stand up, but she is chained to the table. You talk out some exposition here.
Exposition.
Yeah, that's clearly she'd been caught, why she was caught, all that kind of shit. All she wants is, please help me get out of here. You're rich and powerful. He says, I can't do that. I don't belong here. I don't deserve this. They are hurting me here. He keeps saying, Selina, please, you have to. We're picking up from Batman Returns this idea of he's saying to her, we're two sides of the same coin. He literally rips his mask off. So he's saying to her in this moment, just become Selina Kyle. Drop Catwoman. I'll drop Batman. We can be together.
Which is where Batman Returns was definitely going.
Right. Yeah. So, but he's insisting on this, and that without it, he can't trust her. And she keeps breaking the law, and she seems in this moment to be becoming unhinged. She says, something to the effect of, we belong together and you know it. And he just says, listen, I wish we could. If you were willing to do this, we could walk away together. But otherwise, you have to stay here. She threatens blackmail right before he walks out the door. And he kind of has a, you got to do what you have to do sort of thing, and leaves. Because he is in a place now where we see him in Batman Returns just waiting for the light to come on. Batman is the dominant personality.
Like a bird in a cage.
Right, exactly. So this movie will be him struggling with, should he want Bruce Wayne to be the dominant personality? If he gives over to Selina Kyle and they are together, he's willing to abandon Batman forever. On his way...
As are you, from the sounds of it.
Well, hang on. As he's leaving the asylum, he's running by the front desk. You can see a man checking out a bank of screens that are on Selina Kyle. And Bruce Wayne just says, thank you, Dr. Crane. And a man turns around and says, anytime. And that is Scarecrow.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that was Fraser Crane. Because this movie's presumably being made in 94, 95, the height of Fraser fandom.
That's true. But
Kelsey Grammer would be you say you're having problems with castings. Kelsey Grammer would be a good Scarecrow.
I don't know.
Dr.
I don't think I want to impose.
I just don't know what to do with those scrambled eggs and tossed salads.
Right. But, he's Dr. Jonathan Crane. So, thank you, Doctor, anytime. The next thing we're going to see is that Gotham City has kind of had a rebirth. We're in a light time for Gotham City overall because...
A neon light time?
No. No, sir. But the Joker is dead. The Penguin is dead. Catwoman is locked up in Arkham Asylum.
Shrek is dead.
Yeah, Shrek's dead. It seems like we have a moment to breathe, and we unveil the Batman statue. Not unlike the Nolans, version.
The Bat-Jew.
So, watching over this is Dr. Jonathan Crane, and he says, why don't we let a new fear shroud Gotham?
My brother Niles.
I came up with what I thought was a brilliant idea until I realized this is the fucking idea from Batman Begins. I literally forgot.
You can't blame you for that, though, because they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly. So I was so proud of this idea that he was going to release his nerve toxins within the plumbing of all of Gotham. And I wrote it down until about 10 minutes before we started recording today. I'm like, this is such a winning fucking idea. Oh, wait.
Great.
It's such a winning idea. They did it already. But fuck. But, you know, this is taking place in 95, so I can steal from...
Yeah, you have the time machine.
Time machine, baby.
If nothing else, the time machine allows you to plagiarize with impunity.
So, at any rate, we're going to have a scene, and because I'm ignoring the last two sequels, he is getting, you know, you'll get some, you see Scarecrow fully formed, but you might get a flashback that he was both abused by parents and severely bullied at school, which meant that his obsession became fear.
Mm-hmm.
And as he became a psychologist, he started doing experiments on using toxins to induce fear in other people. Where is he getting his toxins? From a doctor, I might have to tell you, Dr. Pamela Isley.
Are the Isley brothers?
No, she's Poison Ivy.
Oh, great, yeah, okay.
So that's where he's constantly going to her. He's getting these experimental things, and then he's repurposing them for what he wants to do, unbeknownst to her. He's planning to release toxins through the water system to infect the whole city and watch people tear each other apart through the fear that he's created.
That's nice because we commented in Batman Forever about how both Two-Face and Riddler weren't a good matchup because they have the same shtick, and these two have the same shtick, but they're actually like one is supplying the other, so it makes sense.
But I really like that idea of her supplying, too. And I like the idea that she doesn't really know that he's repurposing it for what he wants to do. And, because you have Dr. Jonathan Crane and Scarecrow, you're kind of keeping a duality theme from Batman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the two main characters of duality from Batman Returns trying to revert to their actual selves as opposed to their alter egos in this movie, which to me I find interesting. So at some point, Selina's going to escape. Scarecrow attempts to kill Dr. Pamela Isley, not in the same way that, or similar, I suppose, in which my idea was he releases a sonic device that, after he leaves, explodes everything in her room, and she is, overcome with all toxins, but survives somehow, Tom. Not unlike Dr. Freeze. And she is going to become Poison Ivy. And what's going to end up happening is Batman is joined by Poison Ivy and Catwoman to finish off Scarecrow in the end. In that process, Catwoman dies. Maybe this means he stays Batman forever. He asks who this woman clad in green is.
I love how your pitch makes more sense of the phrase Batman Forever than the movie Batman Forever.
You're right.
Anyway, carry on.
And, she just replies, I'm Poison Ivy, and this leaves us somewhere to go in the next film, and that's my movie.
It's great. I really like that. No, I mean, I love the fact that you came up with a Batman Begins premise, because it reminds me of the time that prior to having seen Cobra Kai, you pitched a sequel that was Cobra Kai.
I know. We hadn't seen
We
Cobra
hadn't
Kai
seen
yet.
it at the time. So
And
I
then we both remarked after having seen it, holy shit, that pitch.
yeah.
It's
so
the same thing.
I like that. I like that you do that even with movies that you've seen.
I know.
Yeah, I think you know, that is the road not taken for my picture sequel. I got so close to doing something with the Scarecrow and Arkham.
Mhm.
I just couldn't factor it in because doesn't Arkham appear? Yeah, because Arkham appears in Forever and Batman and Robin a
Right.
lot, right?
Well, not a lot. It doesn't appear until the end of
It's in Batman and Robin a lot, but Mr. Freeze
Batman
goes
Forever.
there.
I don't think it's.
He goes
until
there
the
in the
end, though.
fridge
Yeah. But
when
but
some reason it's
you
no
mentioned
longer.
Batman Forever too, and I don't think it appears until the end. When
What I think was kind of
when
funny to me
Enigma's in there.
is that his arrival in a fridge into Arkham Asylum is that we have like a 1997 predecessor to Jump the Fridge that has exactly the same meaning.
That's great.
Yeah, so very similar. These are very much two sides of the same coin. Speaking
Hey.
of duality, my sequel is called Batman Ends.
I'll say that was going to be my next one.
Really?
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, I obviously I'm stealing from the
I was
most
going to go
recent-
Batman Continues to Batman Ends, but go ahead.
the most recent Halloween trilogy.
Uh-huh.
But you know, I've got the time machine. Fuck you, David Gordon Green.
Yeah.
No, but it suddenly occurred to me that like what this Batman series doesn't have that the subsequent one, which I think is almost equally flawed in some ways, does, is the unity of three movies all directed by the same person that tell a somewhat continuous story, although, you know, off-screen events kind of fuck them around a little bit there.
Mhm.
But I wanted to do that here with you know, I want Tim Burton back to direct. I want this to be.
No, me too. I should have prefaced that Tim Burton's back, and so is Michael Keaton for my my
Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, Tim Burton director, Michael Keaton Batman, and you know, a title and a movie that make it clear this is the last in a trilogy, and that we won't go on from here.
Right.
So
I was going to go for a trilogy of sequels, not just a trilogy.
Of course you were. Would you be doing that if you weren't doing this podcast? I'm not sure. But I appreciate the ambition. Yeah, so just wanted to have like a self-standing trilogy for Tim Burton and Michael Keaton in the same way Christian Bale and Christopher Nolan had.
Yeah.
So this is called
Makes sense.
Batman Ends. There's no pressure to go on beyond this, and if anyone does, they'll be starting from scratch all over again. Director, actor, universe. Okay? And so the emphasis for me was, well, yes, certainly this is like you, it's a direct sequel to Batman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying my hardest to do as much with what the first two movies have given us rather than introducing new stuff.
Yeah.
Which you're definitely doing as well with Catwoman.
Right.
So no surprise, Catwoman carries over in my sequel too.
Okay.
But we begin in between Batman and Batman Returns with Billy D. Williams' Harvey Dent.
Right.
Billy D. Williams played Harvey Dent in the original
By
Batman.
the way, Billy D. Williams and Marlon Wayans, two black men. Marlon Wayans was supposed to be Robin.
That is correct. They are two black men. Well done.
Two black men whose contracts, full contracts, for the fees they were going to be paid to be in Batman Forever, bought out by Joel Schumacher. Go ahead.
Wow.
He wanted some white fellas.
That puts the whole Islander party sequence in Batman and Robin in full perspective for me. because there's a slave auction in that scene, and I actually have a note that, like, is this just pure racism, or is there something, like, ironically imperialist about this? Nope,
Right.
pure racism. If that's what you're doing off screen, then that's what you're doing on screen. Interesting. So yeah, Billy D. Williams, Harvey Dent. He's prosecuted. We're what is it? It's like 3 years between Batman and Batman Returns. So let's split the difference. We're like 18 months after after Batman. That's another good title, After Batman. And he's prosecuting the last of the Joker gang, all the last of Joker's associates. He winds up the trial. He does the full kind of RICO statute stuff, gets them all in prison. And he's leaving the courthouse, and the son of one of the gangsters that he's just prosecuted son or wife, I might go wife actually, throws acid in his face. So for some reason, it only goes on one half of his face.
Right. Well, like in Batman Forever, maybe he just held up a piece of paper.
Is that what he did?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I know how it happens. He's doing a press conference on the steps of the courthouse, and he says to the TV cameraman, he's like, "Get me from this side. This is my good side," and that's why he's in profile.
There you go.
So he on one side of his face, and then in an edited montage reminiscent of the Penguin origin story that was so brilliantly done by Burton in Batman Returns, and I'm sure he'll do as good a job here. Would have done as good a job here, because we're in 1994, I think, 4 or 5. 1995 is when this movie comes out. So it's 1995 Billy D. Williams, not sleepy.
But it's a prequel to Batman Returns.
Like, I'll get there.
Okay.
It's not sleepy Rise of Skywalker Billy D. Williams. Don't worry. Anyway, part of the reason why I wanted, I want the fact that he was cast as Harvey Dent and never got to be Two-Face. This is why I want to resurrect this casting. So we see him go through Hostable, get the skin grafts. There's only so much they can do. He's always gonna, one side of his face is always gonna be, significantly deformed. He goes back to work. It's what Harvey Dent does. It's his job and it's his passion, to put criminals behind bars. But he's up for re-election, and during a district attorney debate with a piece of shit opponent who will be a coded Republican.
You're right.
He's like that. He's debating him. They're talking about an issue that Harvey Dent has flip-flopped on, and the guy's like, "I don't want to say that Harvey Dent is a Two-Face." The press run with it. Suddenly, it's all over the papers. Two-Face Dent. He loses in a landslide, and then he just disappears.
Oh.
So he just disappears into the streets of Gotham City. No one hears from him. Then we join up with the end of Batman 3 years after. No, the end of Batman Returns. No.
Okay.
No, 3 years. We go into the present day of the movie. 3 years after the end of Batman Returns, Catwoman is now on the streets, a cross between a bag lady and a stray cat. She's diving in dumpsters looking for disused cat food and fish and all that sort of stuff. She's kind of, her outfit is like restitched and all kinds. She's a complete mess. She looks like those. This is a really specific analogy, but like when goths become homeless. Like a goth person who's been living on the streets, but they still have the goth look.
Yes, no, I need no further explanation. Thank you.
Fine. That's what she looks like. Harvey, who is also a street person at this time, finds her, and he says, "I am Two-Face Harvey Dent, and you and me are going to clean this city up." Okay?
Nice.
That's the cold open, by the way.
Oh
when
my
we're
God.
into the Batman movie.
That sounds like a half hour worth of cold open.
Yeah, I know. Well, Burton's the man to do it.
Roll credits.
It's half-hour cold open because I've not got much after this. So Two-Face and Catwoman, when the movie begins proper, after the titles, they have become the Batman and Robin of Gotham.
Nice.
So, actually, what we need to do is that meeting of the two of them needs to happen in between those 3 years. So they have like a year and a half to become a crime-fighting team, and they put Batman out of business. It's now the cat signal that's sent by Commissioner Gordon.
Oh no.
And Batman and one day Alfred comes to see Batman, who's in the Bruce Wayne, who's in the Batcave, looking at all the coverage of Catwoman saves this woman from a rape attack, and Harvey Dent breaks another racket, another street racket, all this. So they're basically taking
Not
care
a
of
tennis racket.
Well, all the crime in Gotham is like street thugs attack, like muggings and organized crime. That's all there is.
Okay.
So between the two of them, they've got it all sewn up. And Michael Goff's Alfred, puts his hand on Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne's shoulder, and says, "Sir, I think it's time to retire." And Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne responds, "But I'm not sleepy." And he says, "No, from Batman." So Batman decides to retire. He agonizes over it. He says, I don't know if we can trust Catwoman and Harvey Dent. They're both mentally scarred. Their personalities are all over the place. I don't know if we can trust them. And Alfred's like, have you taken a look in the mirror recently? You're exactly the same. So he reluctantly retires. He doesn't need to retire. He's already out of the business. But the second stage of Catwoman and Two-Face Harvey Dent's plan is to take control of the Gotham City government. Is to kind of run the city government. And so Catwoman sends all her cats to bite the secretaries who work in all the government departments. They become Catwomen who take over the departments. Like they replace all the men who were in charge of like the water department, the DA's office, all that sort of stuff. And so at this point, Batman is forced to kind of come out of retirement to save Gotham from a Two-Face takeover, Two-Face Catwoman takeover, and again stealing from, I think it's Dark Knight Rises, Harvey Two-Face has reformed the court system. So now, when a criminal is brought in front of the court, it's a simple coin toss, guilty or not guilty. And so that is what Batman's fighting is the soul of Gotham City. And somewhere in there, because Commissioner Gordon is removed from his position, he's like a coup. He's going to have to move in with Bruce Wayne because they've taken over his government supplied home. He's got nowhere to live. And so Alfred is going to have to look after. There's going to have scenes where Michael Goff is going to be looking after Pat Hingle in pajamas. and we're gonna get a reprise of the Vichyssoise scene where Alfred is going to be walking through the hall and we suddenly hear Pat Hingle scream, "Alfred, this soup is cold!" So Alfred puts pressure on Batman.
All of this just to get to that.
Pretty much. So I don't know how this movie ends, but Batman ends.
All right.
And I think there could even be a Batman death. I think in order to save the workings of government in the city.
Buried the lead, bro.
He would probably. Well, it's called Batman Ends.
I suppose, but
So that's the crux of my movie, but I don't have
We
I don't have a
figuratively.
third act.
All
But
right.
then neither did Batman Returns.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you can come up with a third act to Tom's pitch, please let us know and send an email to everythingsequel@gmail.com or send us a message via Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Let us know. We'll put a poll in eventually as to which sequel you like the best, or if you've got your own idea to improve. So, for Tom Stewart of Lonesome Whistle Productions, this is Michael Shantz of the How Dare You Awards. We'll see you next time for a new series. Say goodbye, Tom.
Exit!
All right, until next time, everybody.
I like to think I know something about beer, but nowadays even I get overwhelmed when confronted by the exhaustive selection of craft beers they have at bars, breweries, and even grocery stores. Back in the day you had one, maybe two craft beers to choose from, and if you were confused, you ordered a Guinness. But in beerstinations like San Diego, the craft beer options lately are in double, sometimes even triple digits. So what's a beer drinker to do? You need what I need, the Vegas Beer Guys. Your beer of choice should be a perfect blend of malt and hops. And so a live show about beer needs that same balance. And the Vegas Beer Guys matches beer expert Dan Aker with self-proclaimed beer novice Stephen J. Weiss. The results are eminently drinkable. They're on Facebook, they're on Instagram. They'll try new beers, they'll tell you about beer. Think of them as your beer Sherpas guiding you up a foamy-headed mountain to reach the peak of your pint. God, I need a beer.
If you like podcasts like I do, boy, do I have a treat for you. You need to
Stay on target.
and check out the Sounds and Cinema podcast. Listen as your host, sound designer and music creator Tony Parham, and co-host, musical performer and sound lover Derek Hansen, D-Rock if you're nasty, and I am, discuss all things sound related to film, television, stage, and theatrical productions. They discuss environmental sounds, bioacoustics, dialogue, the nature of communication through sound, but as an added bonus, they drink beer and try to
Stay on target.
find them wherever you get your podcasts and listen to the pure mania of a man who can charitably be described as Doug, the dog from Up, and another man with a soothing and sultry voice trying to get that man to
Stay on target.
That's the Sounds and Cinema podcast. Tune in and listen to the sounds they are creating just for you.